Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A, and this is the set 6145. Uh, let's wait till people start coming in the room. It's been a crazy week. But tonight we're gonna do it up. And we have a great guest, as usual. Tonight we have Brooklyn's own comedian, Mr. A.G. White, coming to the set. We're gonna chop it up and have a few laughs. I think that's just what we need, right? Mr. Torres, good evening. I see you. So we're gonna talk to him. Hopefully, you know, he's gonna be his usual comedic self, and have a good time. I think laughter is definitely something we all need right now. So hopefully Mr. White comes on and we have a great conversation, share some laughs, talk some shit, and enjoy ourselves. Miss Rosario, I see you. Good evening, cuz. How you doing? So yeah, pretty excited to speak to this gentleman. If you know comedians, AG White is a funny, not only a funny dude, but he's just a great personality. So it goes hand in hand. When somebody's funny and they're also a good person, you know, it makes their talent even that more prevalent and obvious to people who watch. Mr. Torres, I see you. What's up, my brother? But yeah, I had a few conversations with AG, really down to earth dude, and just he's always on funny. So I hope everybody enjoys tonight's show. Mr. Santiago, my brother, what's up? Nick, I see you, brother. Everything is well, and thank you for those well wishes. My cuz Mari, good evening. I see you. Miss Luciana, I hope she's well. I hope mommy's well. I hope everybody's doing well. But again, I think having this interaction tonight is well needed. We all need a laugh, and I could see my brother is in the room. Salute to you. You sit tight. I'm gonna run this introduction, then we're gonna bring you on. All right. So, without further ado, let's get this introduction going, and we're gonna start the show. All right. What up? What up? Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Mr. A. Welcome to the set. Tonight we have Brooklyn's own comedian, Mr. A.G. White. I hope everybody is in for a treat, because again, as I told you in the preamble, Mr. White is always on go. Extremely funny dude, super down to earth, and I hope we have a great time with him as our guest. Before we start, I just want to make one or two announcements. Let me share this with everybody. I know last week we dedicated our show in memory of Miss Juanita Caballero. And my brother, Peter, just let me know, and I want to share this with everybody. A press conference is going to be held tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. at 393 Powell Street, Brooklyn, New York, in honor of Miss Juanita Jenny Caballero. NYCHA has to be held responsible for the death of his mother and the two other victims of the past who lost their life due to violence allowed by the NYCHA's gross negligence. This cannot continue, and elderly homes need to be made safe for the vulnerable. Please show your support tomorrow in person if you can. If you can't, just share this message. I'm going to post this to our Facebook page after the show and just share it. Security is lax to nil at the building, and if it was more tight, maybe this could have been prevented. But we're sending love and good vibes to the whole Caballero family, my brother June, my brother Pete, and specifically and especially right now, my brother Baby. I hope you're well, brother, and we're with you. Also, I want to send a special shout out to my partner, Mr. Seli Sasson. He's in a predicament right now, and he's very ill, and his family. And I want everybody who follows the set, if you can, after the show or whatever, go show that brother some love. This situation is not good, but if there's anybody that's built for something like this right now, it's my brother. Me and Sully have been family since we're 10 years old. We grew up together. And he's cut from a different cloth. And again, if there's anybody that's built for this, it's him. So I want everybody to keep my brother in their prayers, or whatever faith that you follow. Send him love and good energy. And, let's all just wish for him to get well, his family to get well, and he can come back to the show as soon as possible. Benz, what's up? Salute. I see you. Big P, I see you, brother. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, for all of you who have been living under a rock and are not familiar with A.G. White, I'm just going to run this little clip for you just to share, just so you could get a little familiar, and then we're going to bring him on the show. Yeah, let's watch this really quick.
Good. Well, I'll tell you what, I love y'all sisters. I'm from Brooklyn right here. This is my backyard. I'm going to tell you something right now. Ladies, I love y'all to death, but I don't care how pretty your legal name is. A sister will stay having a nickname, right? And why do y'all nicknames always be of the same fucking shit? Always be of a food, fruit, or ingredient. How many times you ever hear this shit? Cookie. You see peaches? I don't know, peaches went with pumpkin. Where that bitch pumpkin at? With that bitch Coco? Where Coco at? With her god sister Chocolate? Where Chocolate at? With that bald-headed bitch Peanut?
Mr. White has a very keen sense of observatory comedy. And one of the things that I really appreciated about him when I first saw him perform at the Apollo was his ability to imitate Jamaicans. And it was so spot on. It just had me in stitches because I could relate. I was like, yeah, that's guys that I know. Salute to my brother, Chris Gill. I see you, a.k.a. DJ C4. So tonight we welcome to the set Brooklyn's own comedian extraordinaire, Mr. A.G. White.
What up, though?
What's good, brother?
I was like, who was that guy? That was me like 15 years ago, bro.
Yeah, but you know what? Those performances still carry, because when you put material the way you do together, it just, it transcends time, right? So those jokes make us laugh. You know what I'm saying?
And it's still relevant, you know what I mean? Even though I did it, close to around 15 years ago. But the beauty of it all was where that played at was actually the Brooklyn Academy of Music. And yeah, it was right in my own backyard. That's why I said, at the beginning, I'm like, this is Brooklyn, my backyard. We did it at the Brooklyn Academy of Music Harvey Theater, right on Fulton Street.
Yeah, man. Listen, now that you're saying that, shout out to all my 410 State Street crew. That's right, like maybe 3 blocks down from BAM. A part of my life was spent down there. All my brothers from State Street, sending y'all good vibes.
Well, I'm glad you were living on State Street and not in State Pen.
No, listen.
I know you were dead. Oh, that was the old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those brothers had,
state your case.
Listen, my mom's was not having it, brother. Not having.
You know what? Real talk. My mother and father wasn't having it either. We lived across the street from the projects, but guess what, famo? The projects came to us in the private houses. You know what I mean? Real talk. I mean, we facilitated the hood. I always talk about it like, we always had everything. Anything you needed for, sports wise, we had basketballs, we had footballs. We would write our name on it, like return.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We would have our name on the shit. Can I cuss?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, no
Motherfucker,
shit.
we would have our name on everything, bro. Even in the football helmets, we had our name on it. Return to, and we had the address.
Yeah, you know what's
This
funny?
way,
You say that a motherfucker would take your shit and
what's
swear it
going
was
on with
his.
my mic?
No, you good. You good. We hear you.
Oh,
You don't hear. You don't hear me?
I don't know. It might be my mic.
Nah, we hear you clear.
Okay, because I was getting a little
Little feedback.
interference. Yeah, some feedback and some interference. I don't know if that was God or what. You don't listen, man. I don't know if that's the
neighbors.
the FCC, the man. I don't know if it was the dude from state.
Oh, listen, and brothers love stealing Wi-Fi amongst other things.
Facts.
But the funny thing about what you were saying is, a motherfucker back in the day would take your shit and be playing like your basketball, and you're like, "Yo, that's my ball." And like, no, it's not, motherfucker. My name's on the ball. What are you talking?
The ball's on you, brother. The ball's on you to tell me that shit ain't my ball.
So listen, I've been meaning to ask you now that I have you here. What was it like growing up in the East in your time? Because you were born.
Let's not get it misconstrued. It's
okay.
It's East New York,
right?
Not east of New York.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? Growing up, I mean, hey, listen, man. The beauty of it all, and I gotta account for this, man. Growing up in East New York, I didn't grow up alone. Like I had brothers that were younger than me, and I had a brother that was older than me. So basically, we had all ages that we vibe with. You know what I mean? It's not like I was just the only one and I had to fight off the old heads and the young heads wanted to test me. Nah, man, they loved us. You know what I'm saying? Because my younger brother took care of the young kids. You know what I'm saying? I took care of, folks my age, and my older brother knew all the old heads. You know what I mean? So it was like, it really wasn't crazy growing up. But we flipped it though. We flipped it where, you know how black folks are, man. Real talk. If they fucks with you, they fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't bring on no racist shit. Never did. I never grew up. My mother was the PTA president of the public school. You know what I mean? So my mother loved everybody. So, if you went in that neighborhood and you grew up in that neighborhood, you knew my mother, and you knew my mother was the PTA president for decades.
See, that's people when you talk about it like that, people don't really understand what it was like in New York in the late 70s and early 80s, right?
It was crack, man. It was nothing but crack. It was drugs. It was peer pressure. But you know what though? Real talk, man. I never and I don't give a shit who hears this in the sound of my voice. I ain't ever fall victim to peer pressure. And you know why? Sports is what kept me away from that peer pressure.
What was your sport?
The brothers, baseball, that was the white in me. You know what I mean? Straight up. You know what I mean? And to the point now where that's still my number one sport. But you know what, though? Leave it up to the brothers. They used to play. They used to ask us, even when I couldn't make it. They would like, can we borrow a couple of bats? Hell yeah, you could borrow a couple of bats. And some balls. I didn't write my name on the baseballs though. They,
yeah.
I mean, if you hit the shit over the fence, and you know what I mean, and you can't get over the fence, then that shit is a wrap.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So I mean, that's the way I grew up. I grew up with act accordingly. If people give you the utmost respect, you give them the utmost respect as well. It's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? And I just really. I love growing up in the inner city, man. It taught me a lot, and it transcended to my stand-up. Like This is what I talk about. I don't give a shit how much you read. You know what I mean? You can't teach genuine. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach authenticity. It's got to come from the heart. You know what I mean? And that's where my stand-up, I derive all my comedy, all my content, all my material. I derive it from where I grew up, how I grew up, and just, some things might be a little, over the top, but, but bottom line is my method of thinking, my method of telling jokes. And you see, I'm not a storyteller. That's why if you notice when you watch my stand-up, it's always a premise, meaning what are we talking about? then it's the setup, and then you got the punchline. I'm not into all that long, drawn out stories. However, now, you know, with everything going on, audiences have changed. You know what I'm saying? Now they really want to hear the story. They really want to hear how you grew up. They really want to know, did you catch ringworm because you let somebody your football helmet and they had the ringworm, and then you caught the ringworm? You know what I mean? Because it was my football helmet, but I gave it to somebody in the peas and they had the ringworm, and I get the ringworm. You know what I mean? So shit like that, like you can't make that shit up.
Shout out to everybody that grew up in the fucking hood, because AG just hit it on the head referencing ringworm, because we dealt with shit that people just don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Motherfucker, watch how many motherfuckers got to Google what's ringworm. I have a ring, that's my alarm system, the ring, and a worm, I don't get it.
The ring doorbell shit that they got out now.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me ask you, right? So the foundation of who you are is basically, it comes from, you know, where you grew up and the people that you surrounded yourself with, right? So at what point do you start to realize that you find yourself having a passion to be a comedian? Like, where does that come from?
Good question. I tell you, you know what? I've always been funny, but I can never be the class clown because I don't want to get my ass whipped in the school. You know what I mean? Because you're the class clown. You got you know, you got the jokes. Teacher gives you, you know, extra homework because this person acted up. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? I can't fight the whole school at 3 o'clock. So I just, you know, just was easy. Just, you know, just dealt with just school in general. And the way I say that to say this, that I was always a class clown, but I was a class clown in my head. You know what I mean? However, you know, once I figured out that, yeah, I wanted to be a comedian, it was more like I had to go to a workshop at the Uptown Comedy Club to really, truly fine tune what comedy's all about. Because comedy is an art. A lot of these young comedians out here now, they think they could just stand up there and just tell a story and expect the audience to laugh. You'll get a chuckle, but you don't want a chuckle. You want a hurrah, hurrah. You want them motherfuckers to feel it from their nutsack. Even a woman, you want them to feel it from their groin. You know what I mean? On some real shit. So a lot of these comedians, they really feel that they could just talk their way into a joke. And that's not the way a joke is written. Joke, there's an art to joke telling. Yes, you have to have a premise. Premises, what are you talking about? You got to have your setup and you got to give them the punchline. But a person like Dave Chappelle, I mean, I love Dave Chappelle. Reason why I love Dave Chappelle is because Dave Chappelle is a storyteller, but he's a fucking phenomenal storyteller where you just want to just listen to the story because you know there's going to be punchlines in between and also at the end. That's the way Dave does his shit. But I didn't learn how to do that. I learned my art of comedy that I learned was actually premise. We called it the PSP method, right? And I don't want it to sound like a drug or no shit like that, but it was the PSP method, which is premise, setup, punchline. Now I'm gonna give your audiences, right? I'm gonna give them a PSP method on how, if you listen to this, you can follow every single comedian that you watch on television. All right, let's go over the premise, the setup, and the punchline. And I talk about this at career days when people, you know, want to know how is it to be a comedian? What do you have to do? Again, with the art form of it, and I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, it's always that PSP. Premise, setup, punchline. Premise, what are you talking about? Set it up, give me the punchline. Here we go. All right, I come from East New York, Brooklyn. What's the premise? East New York, Brooklyn. What am I talking about? Now I got to give them the what? The setup, right? And then I got to hit them with the what?
The punchline.
There you go. So let me just say it, and we gonna make it do what it do. All right. I come from East New York, Brooklyn, man. One of Brooklyn's toughest neighborhoods. Man, living in East New York, man, my neighborhood is bad. Shit, my neighborhood's so bad. Police pull each other over. They be like, whoop, whoop, pull over, whoop, whoop. No, motherfucker, you pull over. Shit, you about to lose your squad. You about to lose your squad.
People.
So look, so you had the premise, which was bad neighborhood. Then you had the setup. My neighborhood's so bad. And the punchline was police pull each other over. So even though folks won't be laughing, they just got a joke right there. Here's another one. And growing up in East New York, Brooklyn, the neighborhood's still bad. They shot and killed a Jehovah's Witness right in front of the Kingdom Hall. Police still looking for the killer. I'm like, all those witnesses?
Full of them. Kingdom Hall's full of the witnesses.
Yeah. All those witnesses? Ain't nobody witness shit. All I'm saying is them JWs got to get on their JOBs. Fuck, they're going to come to our house with a wanted poster and a watchtower? Shit.
Yo, do you believe they still got those fucking buildings down and under the Brooklyn Bridge?
Yo, do you believe these motherfuckers are trying to zoom in?
What?
On your Zoom, they're coming over Zoom to try to sell you the watchtower.
You lying, yo.
Motherfucker popped up in a Zoom. Hi, we would like to. I was like, oh shit, it's a Jehovah's Witness. Get down, get down. I slumped in my chair and everything, bro. J Dubs is coming over to Zoom, goddamn.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Mr. A. This is The Set. And tonight we're talking to the legendary, incomparable Mr. A.G. White.
Not so white, not white now. I keep telling my audiences, I know I look like I work at H&R Block, but I sound like I'm from the block, motherfucker. Don't you disagree, I'll knock your block off.
Don't get it twisted. The boys from the
Don't
hood.
get it twisted. Get it faded. Get it braided. Don't get it twisted.
Yo, it's funny that you mentioned the Uptown Comedy Club, because that was something some people missed it. You know, being from New York, we were always on to the new shit, right? Yeah. But when Uptown Comedy Club came out, man, that shit was like religion to watch. You know what I mean? Yeah. You had all these new and up. You had Tracy Morgan. Talent was on there. Like you had
Maceo. You had Flex. You had JB Smooth.
Yes.
You know,
early.
All them cats.
Early. And one of the greatest things that I thought about that show was not only that they were growing new talent organically from the very start, but they had a segment where they used to snap on each other.
Yeah.
And man.
What time is it?
Yes.
Time. Yeah.
You tell a whack snap, you
gotta go. Yeah.
So that's where you cut your teeth and was learning your craft in that environment.
Well, that was another branch of stand-up comedy. You know, in order for you to pass their segment, you know, at the Uptown Comedy Club, in order to go from what we call the New Jack segment to being a regular there, you had to pass. Not only was your stand-up having to be thorough, you had to snap well. You know what I mean? And snapping was good, because if you had an audience member that was a little out of line, like at the Uptown Comedy Club back in the days, they used to have these guys that used to sit in the back all the way in the dark, right? And just heckle all the comedians, and it was known as Tenant Patrol. You know what I mean? So they would just like sniper heckle you, like, oh, you fuck out of here. That's why your shoes is worn the fuck out. You ain't got on Tim's, you got on Timber. You know, I don't forget what the hell they said. It's 25 years ago. You know what I mean? But they would sniper heckling you, and then you had to come back with some fly shit. If not, they would boo the shit out of you, yo. So, you know, it was crazy coming up at the Uptown Comedy Club. I came up actually with Tracy Morgan.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yes, sir.
Man.
And you know what Tracy Morgan always says to everybody? He said, yo, AG, stop fronting. Tell them motherfuckers you from the projects. And I keep telling them, like, yo, Trey, I never was in the projects. I grew up across the street from the projects. I was a stone throw away from the PJs. You know what I mean? But I was, I ain't grow up in the P's.
Which P's was that though?
Linden houses.
Oh man,
Linden houses. Yeah,
that's real.
And you know what? You know what's so wild though, Mr. A? Real talk. White folks ain't even in East New York yet.
Nope.
Not here, not in this area. And
Nah.
we right down the street from a mall.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? That you brought that up now. The changes that New York has gone through over the last 15 to 20 years.
Yo.
Like motherfuckers calling South Bronx North Manhattan. Like what? What do you fucking
white folks move in, all of a sudden it turns into the Heights.
Yeah.
Bushwick Heights. Where? I don't see no motherfucking hill in Bushwick. The Heights. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's strange, but
let me tell you something. Everybody growing up and being here in New York for the last like 5-10 years, man, everybody sounds like Count Dracula to me. What do you mean? I don't know. What are you talking about? This guy here, he lives at the Gates Avenue, and then I don't know. What do you know? This is very no good. I don't know. Everybody, yo. I mean, all them, gentrification.
mm-hmm.
Them hipsters and all them motherfuckers scare me, yo.
The explosion happened and started in Williamsburg during the internet boom. I watched Williamsburg. That was the heart of everything. And then from there, it just exploded all over the place. It was like a water balloon went off and just hit the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But New York still, to a degree, there's still the core people, and I know that's going to change because I see it happening like every day. You go to my old neighborhood in Sunset Park, it's turning all into high rises, and it's fucking weird. People from the middle talking about, I'm from Sunset Park. Bitch, you just got here. Your name is Kevin. You're from fucking Kentucky. Get out of here with that bullshit.
You're Kevin from Kentucky. Yeah, I grew up in Sunset Park. Yeah, 4th Avenue. Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, no doubt. That's
Weird.
why when them white folks look at me, in the inner city, they're like, "Ooh, you're new." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I have furniture out here. Brad, I will fuck you up and police won't do shit. It'll be a white on white crime. We both have the complexion for the protection."
Salute to Paul Mooney, man. I love it, dude.
Yeah, we both got the complexion for the protection.
It's funny that you say that because that was one of the things that threw me off when I first came to know you, seeing you on perform and whatnot. Because as soon as you come out, it's unassuming, right? They see you and they're like, "Fuck is this corny doing?" Right?
Yo, listen, man, that's the whole shit I get to this very second. But if motherfuckers just, it's like, what it's like? Okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. The way I look, obviously, and the way I sound is two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got a motherfucking comedian like Godfrey, right? Mm-hmm. Yo, dude sounds fucking white, but that motherfucker is straight black, no motherfucking chaser. He's a great orator, you know what I'm saying? And funny than a motherfucker. And I love watching that dude, comedian Godfrey, because that motherfucker there sounds 1,000% Caucasian, but that motherfucker don't like anything white. I don't even think he likes his cocaine white. I think that motherfucker will snort brown sugar or some shit. That motherfucker is black to the umpteenth power.
He's like black though, right? Isn't he?
What?
He's from like Africa, isn't he?
He's by way of Africa, yeah, but he's from the Chi. He's from Chicago.
From Chicago?
Yeah. But yo, funny motherfucker. I love his whole demeanor. Very, very great on politics. Hilarious with his characters, man. I mean, I've been watching G for fucking 2 decades, yo. And that motherfucker is funny as fuck, bro. Real talk. He's a comedian's comedian.
You know? He definitely puts it down. His work has always been. I used to watch him. My wife and I used to go to the Boston Comedy Club. Remember in
the Village.
The Village.
That's where he got his chops from when he came to New York.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, the Boston Comedy Club.
We used to go there in the 90s.
Yep.
Me, wife, you know, my Michael Mike. We all used to pack that place. We saw Chappelle there. We saw him there. We saw a lot of great comedians at that spot, you know. And to see now, you know, these people venturing off and doing other things, you know, it's great to see that people are still working, especially in this environment, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
speaking of which, what are you up to nowadays? Like, how are you keeping yourself busy, you know, with this whole COVID shit?
Well, after I finally got out of quarantine, Tanamo Bay, um, I feel good now that it seems like, you know, you still got to practice social distancing and everything like that, but it seems like the shows are starting to pick up now. You know what I mean? Where even though New York is kind of still shut down and you can only perform in front of, you know, a spades tournament full of people, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
16 people or whatnot, you know, 4 games, you know, that's a tournament right there. So you can only perform in front of 16 people in New York. But out of town work is starting to pick up. You know what I mean? I'm in Texas this weekend in Killeen, Twice as Funny Comedy Lounge. Shout out to them. So, you know, and of course, you know, I've been doing road work before the pandemic with Lunell and Adele Givens, Queen of Comedy, Adele Givens and Lunell, you know, from all the movies. And she's in Coming to America 2 coming out in March.
nice.
You know, I can't wait for that. You know what I'm saying? She's doing it big. She's, you know, Lunell, the blonde, you know, actress, fucking hilarious, yo. And a great person, Adele Givens, another top drawer. I mean, on and off stage, you know what I'm saying? So I was grateful to work with them, but you know, of course, everything shut down, but you know, it's starting to pick up again. So I'm grateful for that.
Shout out to Louis Lopez Jr. in the room, shouting you out right here.
Oh,
Louis
Double
Lopez,
L,
yeah, friend
my
to the
man,
yeah,
great
good.
guy. Now that's a phenomenal guy, yo.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
I'm gonna sum up Luis Lopez right now. I'm gonna sum up what I read, and it'll sum up me and Lou's friendship,
Okay.
right? In a good way, of course,
Right.
a good way. Positive vibes only with that
Yeah.
brother.
Yes.
So I read this quote where it said, even though we don't talk all the time or communicate on a daily, I just hope when you hear my name, you smile and say, that's my friend. And that's Louis Lopez right there. That's my friend. Now that's my motherfucker. That's my neighbor. I mean, you know, my neighbor. You know what I mean? I'm cool, but I ain't that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Temperature's still there. Temperature's still there.
Louis Lopez Jr. was on the show about maybe 3 weeks ago. Man, phenomenal story. A great brother. Him and my partner actually came up together baseball wise. So there's a connection there.
Nice.
But to hear him speak and tell his story and talk about all the work he's doing presently, just an amazing brother, man. Really good dude. So shout out to
1,000, man. And you know, he was in the big leagues, and then he came out of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It would stand out at Canarsie High School all the way through, you know, the single A, double A, triple A, MVPs everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, and then to the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? Great guy. Always, you know what? As big time as he was in the big leagues and everything like that, he never changed, man. And that's what I love about him. He's still the same dude. You know, me and a comedian named Russell Peters has a joke about Luis. We put it in quotes. I'm holding the phone with one hand, so I can't do the quotes. But you know, let me put the quotes
right there.
so let me tell you the story. So Louis, when he played in the big leagues, he played on the Toronto Blue Jays, right?
That's right.
So Russell Peters was actually a big time comedian in Toronto. So I was like, yo, my man Luis Lopez is gonna leave you tickets to tonight's game in Toronto. But Russell, like, is he's an A-list comedian, like, you know, one of the top 10 grossing comedians in the world, you know. And I told him, I said, my boy Luis Lopez will leave you tickets. So he never forgot that name, Luis Lopez. So it's just a running joke where we would say anything or whatever. You know why? Because of Luis Lopez. So so finally, I forget where it was. I don't know where it was, and Lou was gonna kick my ass, but Louis finally met
Russell Peters.
Russell Peters.
Okay.
So he's like, oh shit. So you're Luis Lopez? Yo, son, I'm telling you, it's just, some feel-good stories that I'll just never forget, yo. So, but I gotta speak to Louis about exactly how where it was and everything like that. I mean, come on, we're talking like, almost 20 years ago. You know what I mean? But always been a true, genuine friend. Positive vibes only with LL.
Yes,
with
sir.
my man Double L.
The brother came on, again, the connection, through my partner who was actually, we wishing you well. My partner, Sally Sasson, him and his family, his 3 boys and his wife, they all fell ill. And we hoping, he was really disappointed he couldn't be here tonight with us.
COVID? What the fuck?
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. He has 3 boys, his wife, and we pulling for him. He actually put a show together. It was a little while ago. It was a little while ago, but they put a show together, and you were actually one of the comedians that performed. It was in Brooklyn.
What?
Yeah,
I did so many of them, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's crazy? People like, yeah, you performed at my show, but you know what? Until you tell me the location,
right?
I won't remember. Obviously, I won't remember.
Right.
But if you tell me the location, I really truly feel I may remember because I know all my gigs. It's just that I don't know when I did them, but I remember the place if you tell it to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and that includes, parking garages and everything, yo.
Let me ask you.
Have Mike will travel.
Let me ask you a question. Being that you've performed all over the country in so many different locations, right? Do you remember your first bomb and what you felt like when that happened? Because everybody, all comedians go through it.
Well, the regular local bomb ain't shit. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to get your chops.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get your chops up and trying to still, get a voice. You know what I'm saying? Your point of views, you got to get out there. So sometimes it may not go according to plan, and then you'll catch the boo here and there. But the biggest fucking boo I ever got was at Lincoln University in motherfucking Missouri. I did a show with Joe Torre, right? Who used to be the host of Def Comedy Jam, all the movies and everything like that. And Joe was like, man, he's a funny motherfucker, man. I'm gonna bring you out to my motherfucking alma mater in Missouri. Lincoln University. He said, all I need you to do is 10 minutes. It's nothing but fraternity members there. There's all the Qs and everything like that. The Q dog, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, no problem. I got you. He flew me out, put me in a hotel, gave me my money in advance, everything. Go out there, some motherfucking Qs. I'm thinking I could fucking tell a dog joke because it's Q dogs.
Oops.
I fuck around. I said, what's up? Lincoln University, the Q dogs in the house. They all bark. I said, yo, what do you call a dog with no legs? They started booing right out the gate. I said, God damn. They started booing. I said, I don't give a fuck what you call it. He ain't coming. Yo, them motherfuckers damn near fucking in unison. Boo! Yo, they fucking, not only did they boo me off stage, they booed me in the parking lot. Oh my God, they booed me in the motherfucking white van, the school, the college university van, they were booing. Oh my God, the motherfucker, I got booed so fucking bad that when I got back to the hotel, the fucking front end person was like, yo, I heard you got booed. I heard it from here. It's like, how the fuck you know? Yo, I swear I'll never forget that shit as long as I live. Lincoln University with Joe Torre.
Jesus Christ, Joe Torre, man.
And I'm working with Joe Torre. I mean, I work with him after that, and we always, would joke around with that. But
Right.
I'm working with Joe. We're doing Super Bowl 55 in 3 weeks. We're
Nice.
doing 2 weeks rather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In Tampa. We're actually doing a drive-in comedy show where, of course, people will be in their cars, socially distanced. And, I got a fucking goddamn email these motherfuckers my jokes. They're going to be so far back. You know what I mean? So it's like, God damn.
Let me ask you something, because I found, we spoke 1 or 2 times, and I found you very relatable. I mean, I'm sure it has to do a lot with us both being raised in Brooklyn. There's familiarity, right? Like there's just the energy that you feel between people when they grow up in your hood.
Mm-hmm.
But how have you been able to maintain and keep yourself so grounded, even through all, that you've accomplished in your career?
Yo, hey, I don't give a fuck. Matter of fact, I don't give a flying fuck. I will never change who the fuck I am. Even though this business, real talk, will humble the shit out of you, I've always been humble.
Right.
And I've always, to this motherfucking millimeter of a second, I always acted accordingly. If you give me the utmost respect, I'm going to show it and I'm going to give it right back to you. You give me your ass to kiss, yo, fuck out of here and fuck all you stand for. I'm not fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? It's a two-way street. And that's how I've always been. Plus, I read up on humility, right? And I read this one quote that, because I mean, of course, as comedians, we read, we see where we could derive our material if it pertains to us and so on and so forth. But I read this quote and I swear I live and die by this quote. Mm-hmm. And it says, be humble. You could go out of style.
Ooh.
Be humble. You could go out of style. So if you don't get a piece of that humble pie and continue to, pick at that humble pie, guess what, motherfucker? We don't want you around. And hence that brings longevity.
Yes, sir. Yes,
humility. Sir. Be humble. Everybody, we're going through this pandemic and people, still are being petty and shit like that and still want to do fuck that.
Super petty crocker out here on some bullshit.
Super petty crocker. Petty. Oh, yeah.
You got one now. You got one.
Super petty crocker about that cake, right?
No doubt.
Super petty crocker about that cake still, goddamn it. All this cake going around and making this money, and you still being petty crocker. Hilarious.
No, you see, the people, everybody who's watching, if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Mr. A. This is The Set, and tonight we have on the humble, the grounded, the man who has stayed himself through it all, Mr. A.G. White.
Not so white, not white now.
Exactly. But this brother, from the gate, has just been his unabashed self, and I appreciate that. People nowadays tend to get a little air about them, and when you go through the levels of success, you tend to forget about where the fuck you from, and we don't do that here.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative. Never, ever, never, ever.
And that's what makes it so special, because as you can see, he's just a regular dude, and that's how you have to remain regular, right?
Copy.
So, G, you have all, you come from Brooklyn, you cut your teeth out uptown, you make all these sort of connections through comedy, right? And I come to understand, because you make relationships in the business, and some of them could be super fake. It's about opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you come across people like yourself, who are genuine and keep their wits about themselves and always remain in their lane. And you build relationships and friendships. And I come to understand that you have a very good friendship, because I was being nosy Perez trying to find out some backstory. You know what I mean? And I come to find out you are friends with somebody who New York City holds very near and dear to their heart, a Mr. CC Sabathia. Now,
I'm glad you said it right too,
of
because
course.
everybody's like CC Peniston, CC Sebastian, and I'm like, nah, CC Sabathia. Yo, listen, man, the whole thing is, man. I mean, I've known C for about 15 years, and you talk about a person that's at that level that has never changed. That's that dude, yo. And I'm telling you, no matter where I go in life, that's one of the highlights of my career. Is brother knew who I was, and we had that, mutual respect out the gate. I to this day I do work with his foundation, the Pitching Foundation. Yo, him, his wife, the mom, I mean the whole family, top drawer, man. Dude is fucking aces, man. You know what I'm saying?
But even when he lost, I don't mean to cut you off. Even when he lost the weight,
the motherfucker was Luther Vandross with the weight. I like the skinny CC. I like the big CC. I don't give a fuck if he put on fucking, if he was the Moon Man CC. That motherfucker is golden. Love that dude, yo.
I told my partner during the time that he lost the weight, things got a little funny for him or whatever. But we love CC, right? But I told him, I said, yo, we don't do skinny CC, bro. We do big CC. That's the motherfucker.
You gotta fucking see CC now.
What, brolic? He's brolic? He's swole up?
He's brolic, but he lost that weight. He lost that weight. He had to lose the weight, because of his condition. But bottom line is, man, the brother looks great, man. Nice. Brother looks great, and you motherfucker turned 40, you know what I'm saying? And then he was just like, yo, just gotta change it around. And God bless him, man. Future, knock on wood, future Hall of Famer, fucking, and future and Hall of Fame dude, period, yo. You know what I'm saying? CC, I mean, motherfuckers will ask me to whatever interview. If they know that I'm cool with CC, I'll tell them to the day I die, yo, that motherfucker is the most genuine, one of the most genuine individuals I've ever met. You figure that brother with all that guap, with whatever, whatever, whenever he played when he played in the bigs, he was like, yo, hey, I got you. How many tickets you need? You need 5, you need 10, you straight, everything good. Yo, I got you. Just make it happen. I'll make it happen. It's all good. Yo, never ever fronted on tickets, yo. But let me tell you the story though. I got a story.
There you go.
You're gonna laugh at this shit.
There you go.
See, when CC first left me tickets, this was probably, I don't even remember, but it was in the early 2000s, right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, the late 2000s, I should say. Okay. But here it is. My stage name is A.G. White. So I hit him up. I text him. I'm like, yo, C, I said, can I get a few tickets tonight? He was like, hell yeah, I got you, eh? He said, I'm gonna leave you 4. Just, pick it up at Players Tickets, and they'll be there.
Put it under the government.
Listen, let me tell the motherfucking story.
Yeah, my bad.
Yo, hey, get to the motherfucking window. Big sign, Yankees Players Tickets. I know I'm at the right place. Yo, I get there, show them my government. Now, my government is not my stage name.
Of course.
What you're seeing here now is my stage name. Fuck around. Ay. I give him the fucking ID. And, it was a white lady. Excuse me, sir. There's no person by this name. I'm like, oh, shit, the big homie. Ay. So I said, how about the opposite way? How about Gary and Andrew?
Yeah.
Sir, I checked that too. It's not here. Yo, I said, how about Andrew White? Sir, I'm going to tell you again, there's no Andrew White. How about Barry White? How about, she said, sir, step to the side. So here I'm fucking full of anxiety because I got my peoples with me and shit, and they're like, yeah, all right, fucking CC left you tickets.
Pump fake.
Sure enough, I fucking got him because he wasn't pitching that day. It was just a regular game, but he wasn't pitching. So I hit him up like, yo, fucking tickets ain't up here, yo. I gave him my ID and shit like that, and then they said the tickets are not here. That motherfucker replied, oh shit, hey, yo, my bad. I went to public school. Yo, I left them under your stage name. I said, oh shit. Sure enough, I said, nah, see, I got ID for my government. He said, all right, give me 5 minutes, yo, and just go back to the window and go snatch them up. And sure enough, motherfucking tickets with my government. I looked at that bitch in the window like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, CC, all that. Hold that, bitch.
You lucky she didn't call security on your ass.
I ain't say it like that, but I looked at her like, yes, bitch.
My fucking tickets.
Yeah, my fucking 4 tickets here. So he said, yo, hey, my bad. Yo, I went to public school, son. I didn't pay attention, man. My bad. Yo, I swear, I remember that shit like it was yesterday, dog. You know how some shit you just don't forget?
Yeah.
Word. So that was,
Wow.
But then you got, athletes like my man Ricky Gutierrez. He introduced me to CC actually. My man Ricky played on the Cleveland Indians, when C was like a couple of years in the bigs. Mm-hmm. He introduced me to C, and then of course C, like I said, we had that mutual respect. I definitely knew who CC Sabathia was, you know what I'm saying? And for him to tell me he knew who I was, man, that was fucking all the merrier. You know what I mean? So but never changed, man. All that fame and all that misfortune and what he went through and stuff like that, and his Under the Grapefruit Tree, his thing was out on HBO. You got to check that out, man. Hey, that shit is phenomenal.
Our brother,
how a brother who had it all almost lost it all, and of course got his mojo back, and he is who he is. You know what I'm saying? And
he always came across, and this is why he's so beloved. I believe. I'm not a super
you gotta believe that motherfucker. There ain't no that motherfucker. Whenever you see on TV, that's that motherfucker, man. I'm telling you,
right?
1,000.
That was going to be my point. I'm not a super baseball head, but I've always had an admiration for CC. My partner, who again is ill, he's that cat, right? So I would go to his crib, and we would be watching like 10 games at one time growing up, right?
Yeah.
But with CC, when you watched him play, you just understood he was one of us, right? That was the connection. And if anybody, especially Boston, came to town and did any funny shit, CC was ready to, you could see it, right? You just knew it. Like if he was pitching, don't play yourself.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't pitching, don't play yourself because he wants all the smoke. Yeah. And that's why we really loved and admired CC, because he reminded us of the guys in Brooklyn. You know how it is. When somebody got love for you, oh no, ain't nobody could do nothing to you when that person was around. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And that's the vibe that CC has, that hood vibe that, this is my man. Don't play yourself because I'm coming for your head. Pause. Like if you want.
Yeah, pause. No doubt. Absolutely.
So let me ask you another question, and don't get mad at me, all right? Because I'm not trying to be funny. I
can always hit the end button. I don't get mad. I'll just fucking disconnect.
No. I have to ask.
5, 4.
Because we're somewhat in the same pocket as far as age is concerned, right?
Uh-huh.
For me, when you start getting to the middle age, things start to change for you physically. And this is out of admiration too. I admire this. You have been able to keep one of the sharpest hairlines in the fucking business. What's your secret, bro? How?
Motherfucker, no stress, man. No fucking stress. Try to stay stress-free. Try to, fucking stay around positive people. And even though my shit is going back a little bit, but real talk, man, I don't know, man. I groom it every fucking 2 weeks, and that's it. No motherfucking tie dye, none of that shit. No motherfucking, no just for men, none of that shit, yo. It is what it is. So
gotta stay away from that stuff, man. I started getting this shit gray, and but
Your shit looks proper.
yeah, I've been
I'm
blessed.
zooming in.
Oh, you zooming in? People,
Yeah.
I've been blessed to have a wonderful wife. This year makes 25 years. Who's
how many?
25.
Wow.
Yeah. Yo.
Fucking jail sentence.
Nah, bro. This is the jail you want to be in.
No. I'm just.
No, I know what you're saying.
Penitentiary shit. All right.
Yeah. Football.
I got you. No doubt.
I've been blessed to have a partner in my wife who's always maintained that, been able to make me laugh and enjoy me making her laugh. So I believe that's helped a lot. But your shit is super tight, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Like I said, I just wish, for being a 50-year-old, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, just the Lord has blessed me with good genes.
Yeah.
Good fucking hairlines. But trust me, the front looks good. The back, motherfucking goddamn.
You got
losing it.
You got it too in the back, the crown joint?
I didn't get the crown yet, but the motherfucker is definitely receding.
Okay.
But it's receding from the back, not the front.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Miss Lou Dubois said genetics and B12.
How about that? But a fucking multivitamin.
Yeah.
A fucking Centrum. How about that? That old ass Centrum I take.
But listen, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. There's getting up to this point to actually have this sit down with you. You have so many different things going in your head, like, yo, I need to ask them this, I gotta ask them that, whatever. I don't want to get too personal, but are you a father now? Do you have children?
No.
No children. Nope. Okay. No wonder
I ain't no foster care father.
No
I ain't no godfather. I ain't no grandfather. I just hope Father Time does not catch up to me. How about that?
Okay.
Ain't no father.
Yeah.
And double L, I saw your comment. Mind your motherfucking own black business.
They showing you a lot of love in here, brother. A lot of love. They up in here cracking jokes too. I ain't gonna do that though, because I don't want nobody getting roasted. People are actually telling me tonight, yo, be careful, don't get funny with AG. He might roast you. You might roast.
That was back in, you catch me fucking 20 years ago. I'll motherfucking roast you. With all that shit, I don't have the motherfucking brain power to start motherfucking snapping and shit. I just want to get through this fucking quarantine or this whatever the fuck the paramedic. What the fuck is this? Panoramic, fucking Panda Express. What the fuck is this? Pandemic? I don't know.
So do you sort of this is gonna go a different direction. Do you pay attention to the politics as just because you don't deal with none of that?
I don't have it. I don't want to lose my hair.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
but I told you, if I said AG, Melania or Michelle?
Come on, I mean, I'm fucking. Come on. You want me to hang up on you? You want me to fucking close this conversation?
Yo, you have to hear the shit that people be
Melanin Monroe, never Marilyn Monroe.
Do you hear that, people? Melanin Monroe. That yo, son, that is a horse.
Yes.
No,
I'm gonna exchange that for your Petty Crocker.
There you go.
Melanin Monroe.
People, if you
I don't fuck with Mary Poppins. I fucks with Mary to get it popping, goddamn it.
If you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A. This is The Set. And tonight, the one and only Brooklyn's own Mr. A.G. White is telling us everything we need to fucking know and understand how to maintain ourselves mentally and physically. And that's
stay in the moment, man. That's the mental aspect. Stay in the moment, man. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Stay in the moment. Stay here. Deal with what's going on right at that particular moment. That's it. That's the way that's my sum up of everything.
AG.
Yeah.
Did you ever at any point have aspirations of being an actor or sort of delving into that field? Because I've always been interested to understand, like, you one, are super talented, and I know I could see you on a sitcom or in a movie.
Yeah, but right now I got to sit calm and wait till that motherfucker ever comes about.
Have you ever dwelt, gotten into writing or anything like that for yourself, as far as like for the screen?
You know what? I at times I did want to indulge and divulge, but I was more on the business side. I was more into production, like putting stuff on. You know what I mean? I never really got into the acting portion of it. I mean, stand up. I love the stand up. In stand up, your comedy and your stage presence, transcends into actually acting. You know what I mean? I mean, because you gotta know angles and stuff like that, and you gotta memorize your stuff. And same thing with material. You gotta memorize what you wrote. You know what I mean? You gotta stand in front of an audience, a live audience. So, acting is just like comedy. But I don't know. I just really never really, wanted to take it to a whole nother level.
Right.
Not saying that I can't now. It's never too late. You could be a fucking comedian till the day you die. There's no expiration date on stand-up comedy.
For sure.
So I mean, I'll think about it. Not for too long, but I'll think about it.
But listen, I don't want to hold you. I want to say first and foremost, man, I really appreciate you giving me your time, giving the show your time.
Oh, absolutely. And anytime you need me, I'm here.
Listen,
my man Chris, you got my man Louis. We talked about the big homie CC. I talked about my boy Ricky Gutierrez, who introduced me to C, who played, on the Cleveland Indians with him. Just, me in general, stand-up comedy, premise, setups, punchlines. I had a ball, yo. Thanks for letting me do me, eh?
Anytime you need to promote, anytime you have something new, even if you want to come on for 5 minutes and curse us out, whatever.
Yo, I want to come in studio wherever the fuck you're at. Paramedic or Panda Express ends, whatever the fuck this shit is.
Listen, that is a possibility. We will have an in studio and again, open invitation. We'll work on the schedule. We'll make it happen. I really, really would love that.
Okay, no problem. You all ready?
Can you just stay tucked? Because I want to give 2 minutes so I could just close it out real quick.
Facts.
All right. All right. Mr. A.G. White, ladies and gentlemen. Can you appreciate the fact that this gentleman took time out and gave it to the show? And not only that, can you appreciate the fact that he's kept it buck, even through all his accomplishments and his career? He's still the same AG. And we really love that about him. And he's a funny motherfucker. So, salute to A.G. White. I'm going to chop it up with him in the green room as we close this out. Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you before, my partner, Mr. Sally Sasson, has fallen ill. Everybody, please make your way over to him. Show him some love and good vibes. And let's hope he gets better so we can, have him back on the show. We have great things coming up in the next few weeks. I'm not going to spoil it. Just pay attention to the events calendar. And everybody have a good night, and we'll see you Sunday.